A federal district court just came down with a decision in a case in Maryland that tells me they are very upset. This judge is upset that they're eventually going to have to rule in favor of the Second Amendment. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Before I jump into that, I want to thank the sponsor of the video, and that's the Sonoran Desert Institute. SDI is an accredited college. It's a distance learning institute where everything is mailed right to your door, where you can take individual classes or you can even earn your degree in classes such as ballistics or gunsmithing and the like. There's a ton of different options. You can check out their link down below. It's sdi.edu/G&G, and they even have financial aid available. Check them out, guys and gals, sdi.edu/G&G. Thanks to SDI for sponsoring this video. Hey everybody, my name is Jared, this is Guns and Gadgets, and if you're into the Second Amendment, whether it's good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, from litigation to legislation and everything in between, then you have found your home here on Guns and Gadgets. I bring you that news every single day, and in case you haven't noticed, the attack on our individual right to keep and bear arms never lets up, and it's always something different. I'm here every day for you, so subscribe, like the video, share it, do all the things. And let's talk about this case. Maryland shall issue et al. Versus Montgomery County. Now, Montgomery County is the county that is right next to Washington, D.C. It's the most populous county in Maryland. A lot of blue there, as you would imagine. And this case was brought forth by Maryland shall issue and the other groups that are joining them. And today, a judge denied their temporary restraining order request and the preliminary injunction. And it's a pretty anti-2A ruling. Check it out. Here's a case, and it says, plaintiffs, Maryland shall issue, engage armament, ICE firearms, and defensive training, and 8 individuals have filed suit against defendant Montgomery County, Maryland, challenging recent amendments to Chapter 57 of the Montgomery County Code, which imposes regulations and restrictions relating to the possession and use of weapons in the county. Presently pending before the court is plaintiff's motion for a temporary restraining order and a preliminary injunction, which is fully briefed. On February 6th of 2023, the court held a hearing on the motion. For the reasons set forth below, the motion will be denied. Now, before I jump into this next part here, remember, a preliminary injunction is something that is hard to get, very hard to get. And it's kind of like when a judge sees a brief, goes, oh my Lord, like, you are going to lose this. I haven't even heard any of the arguments, any of the facts, any of the evidence, and you're more likely than not going to lose this based off the merits of the case. I wonder why this judge didn't see that. Maybe the judge, well, actually, some of the things I'm going to show you, the judge has bastardized the Bruin decision. And this is ripe for an appeal, which it will be. And let me know what you think about this craziness. Obviously an anti-gun judge. Check it out. Let's go to the likelihood of success and the merits, like I just talked about. The first requirement for a preliminary injunction is that the moving party demonstrate a likelihood of success on the merits of its claims, which for the purpose of the motion, and based on the court's findings related to standing, consist of the Second Amendment challenge to the prohibition on Maryland firearm permit holders carrying a firearm in the following places of public assembly: a private school, a child care facility, a place of worship, a public park, a recreational facility, or multi-purpose exhibition facility, a public library, and within 100 yards of a place of public assembly. The court will analyze each of these categories separately. You know, places where you're going to be in large groups of people, probably criminals looking to do things that criminals do. I mean, look what they just did at a block party in Baltimore, right? Criminals are not those of us who are doing things lawfully and legally. We're carrying guns for the betterment, for the protection of our flock. Criminals are carrying guns to hurt, harm, maim, and kill our flock. So next, the judge talks about what was the standard, the 2-step means-end scrutiny process. And the new step is going to be based off the text, history, and tradition of firearm regulation at the time of the ratification and adoption of the Second Amendment. And they have said in some cases it'll go up to the 14th Amendment's adoption. Check this out. Present-day firearm regulations that were unimaginable at the founding, such as those that relate to unprecedented societal concerns or dramatic technological changes, may still be upheld as consistent with the historical tradition of firearm regulation based on the reasoning by analogy. Say what? Say unimaginable at the founding? That means the founders didn't want to ban that activity. And the Bruin standard brings us back to the original constitutional meaning. See, what's going on right now is you have the liberal wing, wackos, and the anti-gunners. They're very, very upset right now that after 50 years of having a liberal Supreme Court, right now, thanks to Donald Trump, by appointing 3 originalist constitutionalist justices, we now have a Supreme Court that favors the Constitution, not the agenda. And it really, really, really bothers them. Really, really bothers them. They're scrutinizing trips that the conservative justices take, but not the ones that the liberal justices like Breyer take. This court that's making this decision is obviously upset with that as well. Let's go to wrap this up. The Supreme Court stated that 2 primary metrics are relevant for determining whether such a modern regulation is relevantly similar to a historical regulation. How and why the regulation burdens the law-abiding citizen's right to armed self-defense. And central to this inquiry is whether modern and historical regulations impose a comparable burden on the right of armed self-defense and whether that burden is comparably justified. Analogical reasoning under the Second Amendment is neither a regulatory straitjacket nor a regulatory blank check. Although the court should not uphold every modern law that remotely resembles a historical analog, analogical reasoning requires only that the government identify a well-established and representative historical analog, not a historical twin. So even if a modern-day regulation is not a dead ringer for historical precursors, it still may be analogous enough to pass constitutional muster. All right, you ready for this? You sure? Grab a drink. No matter what you're drinking, whiskey, coffee, water, whatever it is, grab one right now. Sit down and check this out. Upon consideration of this issue, the court concludes that historical sources from the time period of the ratification of the 14th Amendment are equally, if not more prohibitive, of the scope of the Second Amendment's right to bear arms as applied to the states by the 14th Amendment. I could go on this. This judge is like pulling things from thin air to try to justify keeping a categorical ban of firearms in an entire county. What this means is that it is virtually impossible now, because as of right now, the Montgomery County restrictions are allowed to continue. It's virtually impossible for a law-abiding gun owner, not a criminal, law-abiding gun owners, it's virtually impossible for them to carry basically anywhere in the entire county. However, this will do nothing to stop the criminals who have been carrying all along and will continue to because, I don't know, look up the word criminal in the dictionary. So Maryland Shell Issue has said that they're going to appeal this judge's decision not to issue an injunction. So this will go to, lights just went out and there's rumbling in the background. So I'm going to wrap this up quick. But they're going to appeal. So this will go to an en banc to decide if they're going to issue an injunction similar to what happened when FPC appealed for the pistol brace rule, right? So as of right now, if you're in Montgomery County, sorry, communism will continue if you follow written paper law, because that's what laws are, is just paper. So, you know. Guys and gals, thanks for your time. I appreciate everybody. Please forward this information. You might not live in Maryland, but there are a lot of viewers who do. So forward this, please. They need to understand what's going on there and how their county is become communist. So, yes, I appreciate each and every single one of you. This will continue, but we just saw in black and white a judge who is pissed off that the Bruin decision is a thing and stopped that two-tiered system, and he tried everything he could to get it to stick again, this two-tiered system. There is nothing back in the 1868 when the 14th Amendment was ratified. There's nothing back then as far as firearm regulation that comes anywhere close to what the anti-gunners and Joe Biden and his administration are trying to do now. Nothing even compares. But this judge says, "Oh yeah, it was more restrictive back then, so this will stand." Crazy. I will see you all in the next one. I'm gonna go take a shower because I smell like coffee. I love it. That's us, baby. Check us out. blackoutcoffee.com/GNG. Appreciate y'all. Take care.